back to my channel. We are filming a very exciting video. We are going to go through all of the books I read in 2023. The last time I did this for my channel was obviously for 2022, and I'm not gonna lie, I read way less books, but I'm hoping maybe that will be more of an inspiration to people who are trying to get into reading. When I was like looking into these videos, all of the videos I watched are people reading over 150 books in a year. You guys, I read 10. Now, I know that's not very many, but I also think that that's good for people who maybe don't read and their goal is to read like 1 to 5 a year, which I think is a really honorable goal. Let's just say my 2024 reading goal has been slightly adjusted. I'm bringing you into my space. This is my bedroom. I'm obsessed with my bed. It's boucle. You're kidding me. This bed is not a real bed. And I got Petunia, my cat, a matching one. Look, boucle bed for boucle kitty to match the boucle bed for boucle woman. Let me just show you guys the pile of books I have. These are them. There's only 8 books here. I don't have 2 of them. Borrowed one from a friend and then the other one I'm lending to another girlfriend so she can read. Let's get into the ranking. Okay, I feel ready. Do you guys feel ready? I feel like if you clicked on the video, you're probably ready to hear about some damn books. I've got only 5 tiers. Worst tier is diff strokes for diff folks. Last time I said burn it. I saw somebody comment something about how that's just insensitive because those authors spend a lot of time, and I completely agree. I think that's so accurate. Diff strokes for diff folks. Just because something's bad does not mean it's bad to everybody. It's just not my type, you know? Next, I've read better and I've read worse. This just means I like don't recommend this, but I always finish books. I really am not a DNFer. I finished it, I read it, but I've read worse. Okay, middle, okie dokie. That means okay, but in like a fun way. Okie dokie, like okay, dokay, it's like fine. Amazing, I loved this very much. There's not a lot of space between okie dokie and amazing. Like those seem like such different playing fields. Okie dokie, because it's so positive, is actually a little bit better than just like okay. It's like okay plus an okay. That doesn't make any sense. What am I saying? It makes sense in my head. Of course, the top tier is God tier in all caps. That's just like not even needing to be explained. I'm just gonna go in order of which one I read first. The Silent Patient by Michaelides. This was a thriller. I felt like the beginning was pretty boring and then it like really ramped up in the middle, and then especially towards the end. I was reading it on a plane. I was like chewing my nails. I was, what's the word? Fidgeting a ton. Like I was just like moving around a bunch because it was so crazy. My mom basically ripped the book out of my fingers by the time I was done with it because she was dying to read it. But it's not the best I've read. So this is like a perfect example. It would go into the okie dokie category because I would recommend it to somebody else, but it's just not like the best I've ever read. Guys, look at my slippers. Aren't they cute? They were actually a Christmas gift. So Stacy Willingham is the author of A Flicker in the Dark. It came out in 2022 and it was her debut thriller novel. She had signed a publishing deal to have 2 books. The second book is All the Dangerous Things, which came out last year. Obviously I pre-ordered it because Flicker was my favorite book last year. This book is a thriller. It's about sleepwalking. It kind of shifts between past and present from different perspectives, and I really enjoyed it, but I kept like not wanting to go into the past and I just enjoyed the present perspective. And I did think it was creepy, but I felt like it was pretty far-fetched. I enjoyed learning about sleepwalking. I also think it's sad for Stacy, but it's just the truth. When you come out with such a bang and then your next book, it's held to such a high expectation that it's really hard to meet that level of expectation again. And for me, it did not. I think The Silent Patient was better than All the Dangerous Things. I'm gonna put All the Dangerous Things in I've read better and I've read worse. That honestly feels mean though, because I liked it. Like it wasn't bad. It wasn't okay, dokay. Oh, next one, Daisy Jones and the Six. Okay, this one is a good one. It came out on Hulu, I think, as like a series. Starring for Daisy Jones was the granddaughter of Elvis Presley, which is super cool. The book is written by Jenkins Reid, who I adore. A lot of her books are like some of my faves. Daisy Jones is the only book I've ever written that's in like oral dictation form or oral narration form. It's almost like reading a script. All the characters have their name and then a colon and then what they're saying, and it's like an interview. It was so good. Everybody who I talked to about reading it loved it. I think I even gave it 5 stars on GoodReads. I'm gonna put it in the amazing, I loved this very much section. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I feel like when I read a book and I like really like it at first because it's so raw and fresh, it's like 10 out of 10. And then over time, when you read more books, you're like, okay, wait, actually that was good. But I don't know. This makes me want to write more thorough reviews on GoodReads because I only ever rank it. I never write a review. I threw a party for all of my girlfriends that was Daisy Jones and the Six themed because we all read the book and then it came out last year. We wanted to do themed food and beverages to what they ate in the book. That was kind of tricky, but they had chocolate chip cookies in the book. It was Daisy and Billy's daughter, so that was sweet. We had confetti. Next book, The Last Thing He Told Me. This book came highly recommended. It was Reese's book club. They made a show with Jennifer Garner. There was a lot of good reports and I read it because I think 2 or 3 people who I really trust about books recommended it to me. So I bought it, I read it, say, you guys, I did not like it. I didn't not like it. I just thought it was a little bit underwhelming, and I also felt like it was misclassified as a thriller. Like, it doesn't feel like a thriller to me. It felt like a mystery book. There was nothing scary. It was just, the whole plot line is that there's this note that's left behind from the dad out of nowhere. He just like leaves. He leaves a note that says, I think it's like, take care of her or something. What's his note? What's his iconic? Should I be like holding them up? His big note is, oh, it's protect her. I am gonna put it in the I've read better and I've read worse. Today I'm being critical, but all these books are like actually really fantastic. Oh no. Of course, right when I start using the books, I think I borrowed it from my friend Sarah. Sarah is one of my best friends, and she is one of my like closest reading buddies. The things that she likes, I like, and vice versa. We're really in like the thriller chunk of the books I read this year. So I read Then She Was Gone because Sarah was obsessed with this book. She loved it. She wanted me to read it because she was like, oh my god, you have to. It's so thrilling. Like you were saying, the last thing he told me wasn't thrilling enough, girl. Oh my god, it was vulgar. Not vulgar, just like really graphically scary. Apparently this author really knows what she's doing. She is speaking straight to the heart of a scared young girl. Lisa Jewell, oh my god, that woman has a way. For me, I want to put it under the diff strokes for diff folks because it was just so disturbing. It was disturbing because of what you were signing up for to read. It wasn't disturbing because Lisa Jewell's a terrible author or something. I think that the writing was good, and if you're into thrillers, you would really like this if you like to be scared. So I'm gonna put it in the I've read better and I've read worse category. Next, Lessons in Chemistry. Lessons in Chemistry, I swear, was all the rage this year. Our girl Bonnie wrote this fantastic book. We were blessed enough to get an entire Apple TV series, which has been so good so far. This is like women in the 1950s, so it's a lot more culturally relevant and also historically accurate. So I really liked that. I thought the writing was incredible. I did find certain parts of this book so disturbing that it was hard to read. The plot is just like, it's just a roller coaster. I do recommend it though. If you're interested in any shape or form of reading this book, I think you should. I'm gonna put Lessons in Chemistry in Okie Dokie. Remember, it's okay. Next. Emily Henry, her debut novel in Elle's World. If you know Emily Henry, you know beach read, you know people we meet on vacation, you know book lovers. I want to read them all. This book took me 4 months to read. Maybe 3. I was so bored. I could not get into it for the life of me. I think sometimes our personal lives take their own spin and then we like kind of get into a reading slump. But if a book is good enough, they pull you in. The problem is I was hooked in the beginning. Like I really liked the way it was set up. The main character is a travel blogger and her best friend rescues puppies. 2 of my dreams. Are they in New York? Like they're somewhere cool. The book gets really boring really fast. I don't know. I wasn't really like hooked by this love story. I'm gonna put it in diff strokes for diff folks. I would have to say that this was probably the book I liked the least this year. Next up, Educated. This is my roommate's copy. I gave my copy to Sarah. Oh god, you guys, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I went on a boat trip with my family in September, and we went to a cute little Canadian town. We went into their thrifty bookshop, and I bought myself a copy of Educated. It was like $11 or maybe cheaper. It was paperback. And I loved it because it was so used and like folded. I finished it in 2 days. It was so good. I think it does take the first, let's say 50 pages to like really be hooked. But I watched every interview of Tara Westover that I could find. Tinctures, like what does that look like? I dove into like her family's business and how they're not in prison. I love when a book takes over your life, and that is what Educated did to me. Hello God tier. That was my favorite book of this year by far. I loved it so much. This is also a memoir, so it's a real life story. Next, Carrie Soto is back. I also read Daisy Jones by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I really love her writing style. I love the way her characters weave together. I love so many things about her. I could rave all day long. Carrie Soto was not my favorite just because it's all about tennis. Obviously, I don't play tennis. I don't know really much about tennis, but I have a lot of family members that love it, particularly my mom. She also loved the book. I liked the characters. I liked the story. Carrie's just such a headache sometimes, but I do love her tenacity and her grit, and also another woman in a man's world, so we love our female leads. It just wasn't really my favorite. I can't remember how long it took me to read, but it couldn't have been more than a month. But I remember being excited as the book size went down because I didn't have more to go. I think I kind of really just wanted to read this book to check it off, so I'm gonna be honest with myself and put it in I've read better and I've read worse. Technically, the last book is Local Woman Missing, our final thriller of the year. I was recommended this book by a woman who works at the cat shelter that I work at. She was like, you go read this book, come back, let me know what you think. Oh my god. It is so good. I can't even explain how good this is. I think it's better than Flicker, which was my favorite book last year. Such a bang to end 2023. There is nothing better than a thriller that you're guessing the whole time and it's always keeping you on your toes. That's an easy ranking. That's gonna go up in God tier. I still would say Educated was my book of the year, but Local Woman Missing was a close second. And then I have one last little guy. This is ACOTAR. It's like the fantasy series of the year. Sarah J Maas is just like so iconic for smut and fantasy, I hear. I'm like 10 pages in, so I'm not gonna rake it. A few other honorable mentions of books I really am looking forward to reading. This has been like the top book I've wanted to read for so long because this was the 2022 fiction book of the year. And I've seen it a million times and then I never bought it because I could only ever find it in hardback. I feel like it was a good investment. I bought this in New York City at the Strand bookstore. I actually have a bag right there and I'm gonna read this after I finish ACOTAR and I could not be more excited. This is the stack of books that I really want to read. Not necessarily next or in order. I just already own them. When you own books, it's like I might as well read these before I go buy new ones. First one, maybe someday. Colleen Hoover. It's in a series, so I'm not super excited about it, but I got it for sale at Target and I didn't have a single Colleen Hoover book in 2023. Might be time. Isn't It Ends With Us coming out this year? Love on the Brain. Ellie Hazelwood. Can you tell she's known for her smut and also these types of covers? Like you probably want to read this on a Kindle if you have one. Her writing is so good. Her stories are so good. Judge all you want, but like you're just missing out on something awesome. Wrong place, wrong time. My friend Ellie got this for me for Secret Santa. It's a thriller. I'd never heard of it before, but I love when they have the little Reese's Book Club stamps, like a pre-vet. You know, it might be good. It's by Gillian McAllister and I feel like I've seen her name on things before. Good to have on the thriller list. Forever Interrupted. I got this for Christmas. It's Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love her. It's her first ever book. I think. My mom got it for me for that reason. So I really want to read it, see how Taylor has grown as an author. I think that could be really cool. And then last but not least, I included Little Fires Everywhere. I think there's a TV show about it. Thought that would be good since I just have it in my possession. Those are my books. It was a very exciting year of reading. I could have done a lot more, but I'm still really proud with all I did. I'm so happy you guys watched this video and I hope you enjoyed. I love book videos, but I never really know what to make. So leave a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.